Saturday night, and my watch is a little slow, I guess. I guess I just now got here. Anyway, tonight, a lot of interesting things to share with you. First and foremost, this week is going to be a busy week, if you will, for movies. If you're looking for those Christmas movies, boy, they're coming. Some exciting kind of stuff from Disney on the 15th. We don't have the tickets will be here for that, though, and it's called Enchanted by Disney, one of those live action kind of thing. And another Christmas movie called Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium with, I think this is Dustin Hoffman. I believe this is Dustin Hoffman. Got it. It's about a toy store in New York City, and it's perfect for the kids and perfect for you. If you want to have some fun, this will be the way to go. Then there's a little upbeat stuff here for those of us. Beowulf. This guy is a real actor, bad cat. We can see that. It's this is the 14th. Both of these guys are the 14th. We got plenty of shows to go to. You want to join us, please do. All you got to do is go to wbqc.com, log on, and tell us, whatever, and fill it out, and join us. I'd like to have you there. Tonight, some interesting things. A little later, we're going to get into dreams with you. Apparently, one of the shows that we did some time ago is on the internet, and some people really got into the dreams. And I took a lot of email this week about, and with a lot of questions, very precise questions. People with precognitive dreams. They want to know the keys to discovering the precognitivity or the future. If they see it in a dream, how would they recognize it? Great questions. We'll get to those emails. And first, some of the information. Oh, by the way, I want to drive you to the internet some other time when you get a chance. And if you're considering voting in this coming election, we've only got, what is it, a year? What is it, a year? Just a couple of days short of a year before you can really start worrying about this, I guess. Things that might affect you right away. A good friend of mine by the name of Robert Chapman is, in fact, he has a newsletter, and I get a copy of it, and he sends it to me. And we've done a lot of shows together. And he said you would think by listening now to Citigroup was fighting its way to solvency. Their three-level assets are almost totally liquid, and they don't know what they're worth. In all probability, something like 25 cents on the dollar. On the average. We might add in here that there are thousands of institutions worldwide are in the same situation, and we won't see a final damage report as long as another year. This is the worst financial crisis since the 1930s, Bill. They have stated their total liabilities at three levels to be about 40.36 billion, which was revised recently to 134.8 billion. But these are those hedge positions. Now, I've talked about this and talked about this and talked about this. They're very dangerous. We don't know what the hedges are, nor do we know how solvent they are, and the sellers of these hedges, are they really solvent? We don't know. As we explained before, many of the derivative writers have no collateral assets to cover the contracts they've sold. Now, this is all investment talk, and I know this is strange to you. And I'm not a financial advisor. I'm telling you that right out front. But I'm going to ask some serious questions of my bank. How much are you invested in hedge funds and derivatives? And they'll go, well, everything's safe, don't worry about it. And you're right. I don't have that much money. It's not that big a deal. However, there are people out there with a lot of money and they're trying to put it in places. You want to be very careful. If you're thinking about it and you got the least bit of doubt, please contact your bank and ask them for that kind of information. The hedge funds they're invested in and the amount of derivatives. And because we know that a lot of banks have bought this subprime mortgages. Now, folks, I'm not here to tell you that you don't need me to tell you this. The subprime market, we don't have a housing bubble. We've got a lending bubble that's in trouble. Yeah. It's a serious trouble. And you need to be aware of it. If you're going to do business and you have any kind of liquidity at all, or maybe your 401ks or something invested, you want to find out about them. The future doesn't look good. This is the worst financial crisis since the 1930s, according to Robert Chapman. Now, who's Robert Chapman? He's an individual that's got 35, 40, 50 years on Wall Street, owned one of the largest brokerage houses there, and knows what he's talking about. I'm going to hush for that because all I'm doing is trying to pass along an alert. It's news. You won't hear anyplace else. They're not going to tell you the severity of this. It's not good business. But they're in trouble, and a lot of them are, so please be aware. We've got callers already coming in here. We'll get to your calls a little bit. If you're planning on voting, and that vote is going to be, you're considering Hillary Clinton as somebody that you might vote for, please do this for me. I want you to go to YouTube. And I was going to play a clip for you here. And I don't know if I should play it or not. I'm toying with the idea, but the YouTube, it's the shocking video about what Hillary doesn't want you to know. And you may think, you may not choose to do this because you're putting your head in the sand and thinking, oh, she's a legitimate woman and yada, 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 and all that stuff. Well, this is about what they did, and she's facing some criminal charges. Oh, yeah. This is not going to go away. The people who raised money for her, she was involved with it. She asked Cher for some money for a contribution, and that was okay. But then Cher appeared at the concert and did some other things. So you can say it's all kind of woven together, and they've done an excellent job of covering it up. But I'm here to tell you, before the election, this is going to come back to bite Hillary you know where. Oh yeah, and maybe Bill too. It's not one of those things you want to really jump into. You may not want to do that, but trust me, sooner or later, all of this stuff that's out there is coming out. I've not been a fan of those two for some time, and maybe you are, and I don't mean to offend you, but you need to see this before you walk into that polling booth a year away, and you go, well, Bill, you're talking about it now, and I will have forgotten it by then. Yeah, but the rest of society won't, and it's not going to go away. We're going to take a pause in the action right here, come right back to your phone calls and talk a little bit about dreams, maybe your dreams, give you some ideas about it, right here in the Scizone Saturday Night Live. Back in the Scizone, Bill Rozier tonight with you till 12 o'clock. Jump in. The phone number is 381-3838. Glad to have you aboard. Area code 513 if you're out there. And if you're watching this on the internet, no, we are not taking the phone calls. Somebody called me today and sent me an email and said, why don't you answer the phone? Sorry, I wasn't there. Let's go to Robin, I think.
Oh.
Robin, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good evening, Bill.
How are you, dear?
I'm doing just fine, thank you. I know this is off the subject a little bit, but this is something that you've discussed before. That was very interesting this week that Vicente Fox was here in the city. He's the former president of Mexico, and he came to visit his roots, if you will. His grandfather was from Cincinnati. I looked online at a local TV station's interview with him, and I thought it was interesting when he was asked if any of the immigration problem that we're having is Mexico's fault. And he completely denied that. He said, no, really, it's the United States for not welcoming people like it always has, and so forth and so forth. And I think it's very interesting that Mexico, especially the elite of Mexico, deny what they could be doing to help their people, to keep them there and to keep them happy and keep them employed and so forth, so that they're not bombarding our shores and our borders.
You know, that would be too logical. And Vicente Fox is a fool and a liar to start with. But see, they didn't ask him about that. They didn't ask him why didn't the 5 or 6 families that own Mexico, why don't they divide the land up and give it to the people? And why do they want to keep their people imprisoned? Here's the interesting thing that was pointed out to me the other day. You know, when somebody tries to get here from Mexico or some Latin American country, it costs them, a lot of money. And most of them have to smuggle drugs in. They become mules. And they smuggle in dope. And that's the way they pay their fare. And you may have noticed that you can call it whatever you want. But we've got an influx of bed bugs and other diseases heretofore that weren't here.
Right.
Now, I'm not pointing a finger, but it seems kind of strange to me. I don't know. Maybe I got that all wrong, and maybe one of our astute brainiacs will call and correct me on this, but it seems to me we're putting up with a lot of stuff we didn't used to, all because we're trying to keep Vicente Fox happy. And quite honestly, I don't give a damn about Vicente Fox. I don't care if he likes Cincinnati. I don't care if he ever comes back. He doesn't impress me at all because of his structure and what he's done to his own people. He doesn't show me much.
Well, they should also share the oil wealth.
I'm sorry?
They should also share the oil wealth with their people.
If they would just do that, those people would stay there.
They would, yes.
But no, that's not for them to have. We have to keep them poor. Well, what's that scripture in the Bible about taking the beam out of your own eye before you got to tell your brother to get his squared around? See, I think Fox ought to go home and straighten up Mexico before he comes here and tells us how we're doing or how we ought to do to get along with him. Quite honestly, I don't like him.
Right. Amen, brother. I hear you.
He didn't come to, he was welcome to come on this show, but I didn't get any opportunity, and I'm glad the other television station sucked up to him. But I'm not into sucking up to that kind of person.
I agree.
Robin, thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
You got it. Let's go to, I guess, do we need a break now or not? I'm going to take, I believe it's Connor. Connor, are you there? Yeah, hello?
Hello?
Yeah, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Bilbo Shares.
Yeah.
Shalom, it's Thomas.
Tom, I'm sorry, Tom.
I'm that strange person I talked to a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, and I said you were talking about dreams.
Yes.
And I tried to explain that when people sleep,
Yeah.
their ears and eyes are open. Those are their spiritual ears and eyes. You didn't like that?
Not that I didn't like it. It was kind of
different.
Yeah, but see, the average person sitting out there wants to know, how does that affect me? And, you got to get your spiritual eye. Where do you get that? How do I get my spiritual ear? Where do you get that? See, for you to make those broad statements, it's kind of like Bill O'Reilly.
No, they're correct statements. Now, if you'll be patient with me.
That may be hard, but go right ahead, sir.
I'll make it real short.
Thank you.
And I have a prediction
Uh-huh.
from Dream World. It clearly states in the scriptures, the book of Daniel, mentions Jehovah God, the revealer of secrets.
Yes.
And later in the New Testament, Jesus, master instructor. And the book of Job, when the deep sleep falls upon men and God opens their ears and eyes and seals their instructions.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not meaning to bore you.
Oh, it's not. Not.
All right. I believe God talks to us this way.
Okay.
And my prediction is this. I had a very bad dream, and I've had experience. I'm not hearing you. I'm seeing your face. You still there, Bill?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. In a very short time,
Yes.
there's going to be an unfortunate accident.
Okay.
A large bus is going to go off a bridge or an overpass right here in America,
Okay.
and it's going to be a very bad thing.
I can well imagine that would be a bad thing, yes.
And if you would check some of these scriptures, like in the book of Daniel and book of Job, you would see that I'm not just making this up.
Well, I can see what you're saying and your roots for saying it, but because you've had a dream about that, you know, with the chances of that happening are, you need the name of the truck, you need the name of the driver, you need the name of the
But
bridge,
if I had
the street.
that, I could prevent it.
I'm sorry?
If I had it, I could prevent it.
See, that's my other part.
I don't think God wants it prevented because he's a little upset that people don't believe that he is the revealer of secrets.
Oh, okay. Well, I really appreciate that point of view. Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
Take care. I think, it's not that I have trouble with Tom, but that concept of, I don't know. Who have I got on line 4? Oh, I'm sorry. I was told we'll take a break here and come right back with more of your telephone calls at the phone on the screen. We'll be right back. Stick around. You're up next. Talking about dreams tonight in this segment of the Scizone. Your calls are 381-3838. There's a line open if you want to jump in. I'd like to have you aboard. Today I got a question asked of me via email about how do you distinguish the difference between just regular dreams and things that are of the future. And it takes time and looking at it. Like Tom, I believe that there's a lot revealed in dreams. I don't necessarily think of it as religious, even though it may be inspired by some deity or something. I don't see it as that. Most often dreams are symbolisms of hypnagogy or stimuli that's given to the brain or the brain received. And most often, when you dream, if you dream of something that you can get up and go, oh yeah, I can relate that to this stimulus, and I saw that, and I put this in that place, and this, and you can sort of weed and cipher through it or see the maze that's there, or kind of understand. It's one thing. But when this lady called me today, and she was telling me about, she had had a dream about water coming through the window and hitting her in the face. And got up and forgot all about it. Walked in, started to do the laundry, and the hose broke, and the water hit her in the face. And she said, I know that sounds silly, but is it in fact of the future? Could it be of the future? In so many words, that's what she was asking. The answer is quite simply yes. When things come at you in abstract, that happen in the future with some semblance, focus on it, listen to it, and write it down. The more you write it down and keep a journal, the more apt you are to see a pattern develop about seeing and knowing the future. and we'll take some phone calls. When we come back, I'll tell you an exercise you can do that'll last about 72 hours, and you'll get some stuff happening. Let's go to the phones. We got Laura. Laura, you're on the air. Hello? Laura? Laura's gone. Let's go to line 4. I'm not sure. Jane. Is it Jane? Go ahead.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, how you doing, Fair?
I talked to you a few weeks ago. I'm the guy that did the recon over in Czechoslovakia and East Germany. I think Tom's prophecy is not too prophetic, considering that there's a car wreck about every 6 seconds in the United States.
That was my point.
Odds of that happening are pretty good.
Pretty good, particularly with the Mexican drivers coming across the. Yeah, we may see a lot of that. I don't want to see it, but hey, the odds are moving up on us.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, one of the reasons I called is I've seen a talk show here about a month ago with a guy named Lawrence E. Joseph. He did wrote a book called Apocalypse 2012. Are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not.
The Mayan calendar, I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I am, sir. I am familiar with it.
One of the oldest known calendars to man.
Yeah.
Both of them predict that the end of the world will come during 2012. There's a place called WebBot that is being run on the internet. Apparently there's 40,000 different scientists that are working on something to do with our sun. They said that during the year that we had the Katrina and the tsunamis was the highest instance of solar storms that ever recorded. And they're saying something about the alignment of the stars, something like that. But I thought maybe if you kind of researched that, that might be a good show for you, or maybe you could get this guy on and he could explain something.
You know, I'm looking at that, and I've done this, and I've done this much. There is a book called Angels Don't Play That Harp. Are you familiar with that?
No, I wasn't even familiar with this until I actually saw it on the Montel Williams.
Okay.
Show.
Well, let me guide you somewhere else here. There is a lot of weather phenomena that we can't explain.
Correct.
And I hate to leave this up in the air, but there are a lot of things that are happening at a place in Alaska called HARP. And it's where they bounce radio waves off the ionosphere. And these things that they're doing to control the weather.
Correct. They've been trying to do that since World War II, though.
Well, let me lay something else on you. Have you noticed the amount of chemtrails that are out there?
I've seen the whole thing on it, yeah. That's
Now,
a really weird phenomenon.
My point is this. Nobody wants to fess up to chemtrails, and yet we've got research and people saying it's full of barium sulfate and stuff like that.
Yes.
And the HARP we know is working, and they turn it on us ever so often, and it's about weather control. Now, when you go back and look at the original patents on that HARP, or that array of radio antennas that's up in Alaska, that's the reason it was invented.
That's
To control the weather. Now, let me ask you this. Can you ever remember in your lifetime weather being stranger than this?
No, I'm 47, and you know we were just talking the other day about we went from summer pretty much into winter, and what a lot of people don't realize is when they think of global warming, they're thinking that it's just going to get hot. With the amount of ice that's going to be melted from our polar cap.
Yeah.
It's going to mess up the Gulf Stream and everything else. This could bring in another ice age.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that.
Well, there's going to be a lot of change coming as far as weather and so forth. We're going to do some things with this, and I've got some I've got a whole bunch of videos I want to share with you, and we will do that here and some of the research that's going on. In the meantime, you stay tuned and please stay abreast of it. I really appreciate your call. Thank you, partner.
Hey, you're a good man.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
The telephone number is 381-3838. I'm Bilbo Shears. We're going to take a pause in the action and come right back with your phone call. Jump in. Lines are open. It's up to you. Your turn right here in the Scizone. See you in a minute. Back in the Scizone, Bilbo Shears with you till 12 o'clock. The number is 381-3838. Jump in. We got lines available. We'll get to Frank and all the rest of you as soon as you get. Anyway, the exercise that I was talking about is this. If you would like to experiment, and to do any experiment, you need a baseline, and this is what we'll do. This is what you say. You know, when you're laying in bed, and you're getting ready to go off to sleep, and you're laying there, and all of a sudden, somewhere else in the house or someplace you hear the water dripping, and you can't go to sleep. Jesus, why is it so loud? That kind of thing. When you're dropping down, your senses become much more attuned. So get up and turn the water off, but come back to bed and go to that place. It's the place, and I'll give you a physical feeling. It's where your eyes can no longer stay open and you are going, you feel like you're settling down into the bed. Here's the point. Here's what you say. I will remember the future. I will remember the future. Just say it a couple of 3 times and then go to sleep. Don't worry about it. Next night, do the same thing. Next night, do exactly the same thing. And then watch for glimpses. When you pick up an object and you have an impression, just be aware of it. You might want to write it down, but just be aware of the subtleties that you begin to remember about things. If I ask you what you had for breakfast, you'd be able to tell me. Or what did you do last week? But that's past memory. It's the same exercise that once you become accustomed to it, you remember the future. And it's yours you're dealing with. Let's, the number 381-3838, it's a line open. Let's go to Frank. Frank, you're on the air, sir.
I got a question for you, buddy.
Okay, buddy.
Like I heard you talking over the summer about the number of the beast or the ID, the government-issued ID. And I was trying to get some elaboration on that because I saw a video at church, and they were talking about the same thing, like another type of government ID. So, like, you couldn't drive without it and all that. And I wanted to hear some more about it because I only caught the tail end of that show.
Well, I really don't know that much more about it than you do.
Okay.
There are some chips that they want to inject chips into people that are tracking devices of some sort,
yeah.
like your dog or some others.
Like Home Again.
Yeah, or whatever nonsense that is.
I was just wanting to know maybe 1 week you can do some more elaboration on it.
I'll be happy to, but there are other people that are far more, and I will try to get those people on here to talk about it.
Okay.
You got it, my friend. I appreciate it, Frank. Thank you, sir. And 381-3838, jump in. Let's go to, I don't know. Who is it? I'm sorry? Mary. Mary, glad to have you aboard tonight. Thank you.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Could you tell me what happened to your friend Larry Nichols? I used to listen to you all the time and listen to him on the radio.
Yes. Well, Larry, as far as I know, is well. We do a show just about every night on the internet called, one of it is Wellspring Radio. You can get on, just go www.Wellspring Radio, Larry Nichols, and then there is a room you can go to called Steel Magnolia on Pal Talk on your computer.
I don't have a computer. That's why I followed you on the radio all the time.
Well, I'm here, and that's where I am. But you need a computer.
Yeah, you mean, well then you're, as far as you know, Larry Nichols is in good, he's well?
Larry Nichols is living, he is in...
He's in Arkansas.
He's in Arkansas, Conway, Arkansas, yes.
Okay, good. Well, I appreciate you very much.
Well, we appreciate having you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good night. Let's go to Charles on line 2. Charles, you're on the air, sir. Hello, Charles.
Yes. My name's Charles Smith. I'm calling from Evanston. This is about the last time we were talking about a Halloween show.
Okay.
It's a thing that NBC Dateline did a special on called the spinning animation in dreams.
Uh-huh.
Where when you dream, when you wake up and your body has a delayed effect, you're still conscious, but the fact that you can't open up your eyes, but you can hear everything around you in the house and everybody.
Yeah.
And you're still sleeping. Your body is still asleep, but your mind is woke. Well, anyway, Dateline did a special where some people are caught like that with their eyes open.
Yes.
And they see spiritual entities and demons and stuff like that. It got to a point where they actually have a diagnosis for that, where people all around the world were being interviewed, and this thing is called some type of suspended animation, where in that delayed effect, they're caught with their eyes open, but their body can't wake up. They see these demons.
Okay, I did not see the program. I can imagine that would be a very unpleasant experience. I don't know just how to comment on it, but I'm glad you brought us up to date on it. If you hear more on it, let me know, man. I appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
They see demons. I've always said that there is a thin veil. It's of time and space, and this veil is woven very like a gossamer kind of thing. I believe we sometimes pull back that veil, and we see other dimensions. Sometimes we're not ready for that. And like that gentleman just pointed out, maybe there are these dimensions of frightening things, demons. I know that people have different ideas about religion, different ideas about the way things should be in the universe. I'm sorry. There is something out there that if it affects you, it's very real. I don't care whether you're up, down, backward, whatever you want to call yourself. I'm not into that. What I am into is seeing if it works for everybody around you. If it works, you got something. Stick around, we got more to do in your phone calls right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Bochier till 12 o'clock. Join me. I was just looking at the tickets we got this week. There's going to be several movies. Just go to WBQC and register, and somebody will contact you. This Beowulf, it's a warrior kind of movie. Going to be an interesting thing. By the way, these are at the Springdale Cinema, and the other one that Mr. Megorium's Wonderful Emporium. It's a Christmas show. And the other one that we're going to be doing some stuff with is it's a Disney movie called The Enchanted. It's a live action movie from the Disney studio. Good for kids, and so jump in. Christmas movies for everybody this week, except this one. It may be a Christmas movie, but he don't look like he's going to be happy with St. Nicholas, but he looks very serious with that sword in his hand. Anyway, The Wonderful Emporium, Beowulf, and Enchanted this week. The 14th, Wednesday, and Thursday nights. If you're available, jump in, get yourself some tickets. We'll see you there. Hope to see you, and we'll have some fun. The number 381-3838, like to have you here. Give me a call if you got questions. Here's the thing that got me. With this exercise I told you about remembering the future, it's programming your mind to remember the future. Does it work? Absolutely. Will you be able to see the future clearly and know which horse to bet on or what numbers to play? I don't know. But I do know this. A lot of people have gone into the future, seen it, and come back with their life story, or it's changed their lives for the better. Is the future there? Absolutely. Your intention makes it so. The interesting thing that someone once said is once you see the future, it changes. Think about that. But if you remember it, it seems to me it's there. The other trick in this is that if you see the future, it will be in glimpses, as I've been able to experience it with other people, and those glimpses are flashes of insight. Pay strict attention to them, and when you have one, just stop and remember the picture. It's like walking into a room and going, I've been here before. Have you ever done that? Have you ever had deja vu? Scientists say, well, it's kind of like fainting and you come back to reality to recognize where you are. Well, that may be so. But Freud was upstairs in doing some reaching into this future thing, and the patient was on the couch and they were talking. And he said, what do you see? He said, I see a tiger. He said, you see a tiger? He said, yeah. But long story short, he got out, left the office, went downstairs, and there was a tiger in the emporium right underneath where he was at. True story. Anyway, back to the phone lines, your telephone. We got who on two? Samantha, you're on the air. Go ahead. Samantha? Hello?
Hello?
You're on the air, dear.
Yes, I'd like to know what deja vu is.
I just said that. Deja vu is going someplace and remembering that you have seen, or feeling like you have seen it before or been there. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, but are you saying like we were here before, or?
Apparently, there's two schools of thought on it. One says that you just walked into this place, wherever this is, and you fainted, or something happened in your mind and you fainted. It looks like that. And when you recognize, you come back to reality, you go, oh yeah, I remember this. But it's more than that. Some people see it before they get there. That means that they have had what we call a mobile state of conscious. Has this happened to you? Where you see the place and you know where you're going. Never having been there before, you know it when you get there. I can tell you're overwhelmed by this. It happened to me. The first time I went to London, it was that I knew where everything was. And I had my friend with me, and they were staying at a hotel. I got off the train, or the electric at Victoria Station, walked straight to their hotel. I knew exactly where I was. I knew every turn, every lamppost. I knew everything. Why? I don't know. To this day, I don't know how I knew it, except I'd been there earlier. I'd been there before. I saw it before I got there, and it was familiar to me. We can take a pause, Jackson. We'll come right back with your questions and your phone calls right here in the Scizone. I'm Bill Bochiers. Stick around. It's all about you tonight, right here. Back in the Scizone talking tonight about dreams and some of the realities that sets in, deja vu being one of them. It often leads to that feeling of having been there before. Simple? Not always. Let's go to Elaine. You're on the air, Elaine.
Hello, how are we doing? I wanted to ask you a question now.
Go ahead.
This experience happened to me. I came in and I laid down, and I had a dream about a couple of neighbors. They were young guys. This has been a while back.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, I had this dream about them, and I had a dream that the police were going to invade their house. And I had told them, I said, you know, whatever you're doing wrong, you need to quit it. I had this dream, and I told them just as I'm telling you about the dream. Well, a week later, I was in my bathroom getting out of the tub, and my neighbor called me and said, look out your bathroom window. The dream that you had is coming true now.
Uh-oh. So it came to pass?
Yes, it did.
Now, when you had this dream, were you a part of it, or were you observing this dream?
No, I guess I was looking because
if you think back,
just the way that it appeared, you know, in the dream.
I see.
Like what I had told him was, in the dream that I had, I said I seen the police in fatigues entering your house. Okay, when my neighbor called me a week later to that date, that's exactly the way it went down.
Hey, what you've obviously done is seen the future. Now, people can argue with that if they want to, but it happened to you. And I'm telling you, more and more people are doing this. And here's the trick. I believe, Elaine, that it's coming to the time in our life when we need to know this or have this ability. I don't know if you understand that, but I think we've evolved to the point where we know certain things inherently or automatically, just like you did with this dream. Great story. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to, I guess it's Laura. Laura, you're on the air.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good, good. I wanted to ask you about a dream that I had about 19, 20 years ago. The dream was about when I went to sleep, I seen fire coming against the blackboard, writing, it was like a lottery number across the board, and then under it, the fire wrote, pleasure-seeking child. And this dream has stuck with me for probably 20 years now.
Can you remember the numbers?
I could not remember the numbers. I think what was more important to me at the time was the writing under the numbers, and the fire wrote across pleasure-seeking child.
Wow. Has anything like that happened to you consciously?
No.
I have no idea. I have no way of interpreting it. There's all kinds of books on it. You can go online and find them that will interpret that.
Okay.
One of the things that is familiar to this is that this is what's described in the Bible, I believe, as this fire writing on the wall. Okay? I believe that's it.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's amazing, people having dreams about the future and them happening. It just goes on and on and on. I'm telling you, sometimes I see things and I go, wow. And sure enough, it happens. Is it controllable? Absolutely. The little exercise I give you, just tell yourself before you drop off to sleep for about 3 days, remember the future and just let it go. Don't try to hype it or anything else. Just let it go. Start programming your mind and watch what happens. You will see it happen. All right, we'll do this real quick. Mary on 3, you're on 3. Go ahead. Mary?
Hi, Bill.
Yeah.
Hi, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Talk to me.
Well, good. I've been listening to you. And
Mary, you're listening to your
I've been
television.
listening to you, and I have seen a house that I've been in before. A house, and it was amazing that I don't remember being there before, but I know that this house looked familiar to me.
That's what they call deja vu, but I appreciate your call. I got to run. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Folks, when you call, turn your television off. I know I'm good looking, and I know I'm handsome, and I know you want to talk to me, but I'd rather talk to you on the phone. That's why you got what? I'm sorry? They're talking to me in the air here. I can hear the ghost. They're coming to get me right after this. To quickly tell you, this week there's about 3 movies we can go see together if you'd like. Bela Wolf, this guy, nice looking guy, got a sword in his hand there, sort of a adventuresome looking fellow. And then the Christmas movies, if you will. Mr. Morgan's Wonder Emporium. It's a Christmas story. And I'm sorry, it is about an emporium in New York City, and it's a toy store. Dustin Hoffman. Could be interesting. And the other, of course, I got it here, Enchanted by the Disney Zoo. It's a live action show. I think it's going to be a hot week for movies. Join me if you can. You can go to www.wbqc.com and register. That's all there is to it. The tickets are free. We'd love to have you. I'll see you there. In the meantime, take care, stay safe, and follow your dreams. They don't have to be the future. They can be the ones you make up to. You're great people. Take care, stay safe. We'll see you right here next week in the Scizone.